this could end so sadly and so tragically. I mean, what if you died one night in this stupid little New York City bedroom, and they find your body a couple of days later, and then that's the story of your life. Like, guy moves to New York City, gets hooked on cocaine, dies. What a stupid story that is. So I was crying out for help that I couldn't get from anybody.
But you obviously got over it. So tell us the process. You finally woke up one day and you said, I got to get out of here and I got to do something different. How did you, that takes a lot of inner strength to say to yourself, what I've been doing for 10 years is wrong. And even though I have this intense desire for that feeling, I have to get out of it. So
Right.
how did you do that yourself? That's very impressive.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So what I would tell you is that, number one, I always had a vision for my life that was not that. Mm-hmm. And I knew that those two things couldn't exist together. There's no way I can keep living like this and also do what I believe I'm destined to do. Now, at the time, I didn't know that I was destined to do Walkaway. What I thought I was destined to do was become a famous actor or singer, and that through having the platform of fame in the entertainment industry, that I would be able to use my voice to help other people. I mean, I always wanted to kind of be a political activist of sorts, but I wanted to be a liberal political activist because that's what I thought was the right path. And I wanted to use my voice to help liberal causes, or so I thought at the time. And so I had known for many, many years that I was on the wrong path with the drugs, and that this life was not working, and that I very well might die. And I used to think to myself too, like, this could end so sadly and so tragically. I mean, what if you died one night in this stupid little New York City bedroom, and they find your body a couple of days later, and then that's the story of your life. Like, guy moves to New York City, gets hooked on cocaine, dies. What a stupid story that is. And so it was in December of 2014. I went back to Nebraska for Christmas. While I was back, I was at a bar, and I happened to run into this guy that I had known many, 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 many years before I had moved to New York City. And when I knew him many, many years before, he was a drug addict. And I don't know if he's an alcoholic, but I know he's a drug addict. But I saw him, and he was fit and buff. I mean, he looked better then than he looked when I knew him 15, 10 years before. And I said, Ryan, like, what's going on? And he said, oh, well, I got sober 8 years ago. And I immediately felt like, talk to him, because I'd been telling all of these people, I think I have a problem, and nobody cared, and nobody was helping me. So I said, I think I need to get sober too. And he was like, well, tell me about it. And so we went for a drive. I kind of told him the whole story, and he was like, you absolutely need to get sober. But let's remove any questions surrounding that in case you were not sure. And he said, but this is a decision you have to make. And if you make this decision, I will help you. And I said, please, like, tell me what to do. And so I went back after Christmas, and he basically just said, you need to start going to meetings, find meetings that you like. Once you find meetings that you like, find somebody that you like and ask them if they will be your sponsor. And
now, meetings like Alcoholics Anonymous,
right.
There are such things for drug addicts,
right?
I see.
Well, I think that he recommended that I go to AA because it's all the same. I mean, it's
right.
Whether you
doesn't matter if alcohol or drugs, right?
No. I mean, it could be weight loss. It could be food addiction. It's the message is the same.
It's addiction, right?
Addiction is addiction. Yeah, and so but for the record, yes, there are Narcotics Anonymous and Cocaine Anonymous, and there are these meetings. But I went to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I went for 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks I would go to the meeting, and as soon as I left the meeting, I would walk across the street to the bar, and I would have a drink, and I would call Ryan, and I'd be like, well, I went to the meeting and stuff, and he'd be like, oh, how'd it go? And I'd be like, oh, great, I'm sitting here getting drunk right now, and he's like, well, just keep going, give it a chance. And so it was almost exactly 2 weeks after I started. It was on January 18th, 2015. It was a Sunday. I went to a meeting, and I was visiting a friend actually in California, and was at his house, and I was drinking a glass of wine, and we were all drinking, and I just kind of looked at it, and I was like, I'm done. This is the last one. This is the last one. I know it. I drank it. I put it down, and that was the last drink I ever had. And
And how long had you been going to those sessions? Not
about 2 weeks.
That was it?
Well, yeah, no, I wasn't cured.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was I was going to these meetings for 2 weeks and drinking afterwards. But
Right.
once I had that on January 18th, I had that glass. It was like 2 or 3 glasses of wine. I put the one down after drinking it. I said I'm done, and then I kept going to meetings, but I stopped going to the bar afterwards.
Oh,
And yeah,
and what about cocaine?
done with that.
Same time.
Oh yeah,
I'm done.
I'm done with all of it. With all of it. Yeah. And it was not so, it was a lot easier to give up the cocaine once I gave up the alcohol, because the alcohol, forget it. I mean, I would have like 2 sips of alcohol and I'd be like, gotta call the coke dealer. But and I'm not going to say it was easy to stop doing cocaine, because that was the bigger problem. The cocaine was a way bigger problem than the alcohol. The problem is the alcohol was so accessible.
Yes.
It's everywhere. And every day someone's calling you, let's go have a drink, let's go have a drink. And then you have a drink and you have to call the drug dealer. Once I cut the alcohol out, I could have the willpower to say, I can't.